I feel like Bulgaria is one of the best places to live. Florida, yeah, this is Florida. I think, yeah, the hurricane was formed here. Boom, 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 boom. It will hit Florida, and I think if he goes like this, he will disappear at some point. Why hurricanes are becoming more dangerous?
This is Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, your personal astrophysicist. I have with me a 40-year veteran of meteorology,
okay.
John Morales. John, welcome to Star Talk.
Oh, it's incredible to be here. So honored.
Now, I check in your bio. You are based in Miami, Florida, which means as a meteorologist, hurricanes might preoccupy your time and attention, especially in the fall, just by a little bit. And we are recording this one day before Hurricane Milton makes landfall on the west coast of Florida. And so before we discuss more about what may be different about that hurricane, let's just lay some foundations here. The meteorological community, at last I checked, names all storms, all low pressure systems that build in the Atlantic, and only some of them become hurricanes.
That is correct. They've been using names alphabetically since the 1950s. And first it was all female names. And rightfully so. In the 1970s, that was changed after some protests because women felt that why would only women names be associated with devastation? So now they alternate male and female names in 4 different languages, Neil. They use English, of course, but also you have to remember all the languages spoken across the Atlantic basin. So Spanish is also utilized, Dutch for some of the Dutch Antilles, and French, of course, because French is spoken in some of those Caribbean islands too.
What makes the fall so susceptible to hurricanes when we don't typically think about them in the winter, spring, and summer?
Yeah, what's going on is that, throughout the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, you have, of course, the Northern Hemisphere absorbing quite a bit of solar radiation throughout the process of the summer. And you don't see the peak of ocean heat content happening until later, much later than the summer solstice, which would be what, June 21st or so. So if the oceans are warmest, not at the summer solstice, but later into the end of summer and beginning of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere now, that is when you'll see that peak of hurricane activity, because tropical storms feed off of warm waters. The air starts to rise because it's buoyant, much like a hot air balloon would rise when you use that flame, right? So as that air is rising, the pressure at the surface starts to diminish. The weight of the column of air that is above you starts to diminish. And then all the air that's around that region wants to rush in to fill that relative vacuum. As that happens, what are these air molecules going to do as they rush towards?
What am I watching is why hurricanes are becoming more dangerous. Did I miss too much? Not too much. Like you missed storm naming, basically. Why? Like how they are named. I mean, for the example, like their mates, I think where they go. I had TikTok for you. What causes hurricane season? And that
towards the center, they start to also rise. They congregate, they clash, the air molecules rise.
There's no place else for them to go.
No place else for them to go because they can't go into the ocean, not dense enough for that to happen. So, so you've got further rise of air into the upper atmosphere. Now, let's get to the moisture part because that's really important. This is really humid air, okay? All this moisture is being evaporated off the surface of the ocean. And as that happens, and the air rises, in our lower atmosphere, known as the troposphere, there generally you will find that the temperatures are decreasing as you rise up into the troposphere. Well, the moisture that is in the air, which is in the form of water vapor now, as it ascends, the temperature drops and the temperature and the dew point temperature start to get closer to each other. Dew point is a direct measure of how much water vapor is in the air. Okay. And the more water vapor you have, the higher that dew point temperature is. When the air temperature and the dew point temperature match, you have reached full saturation. And this condensation process releases energy. And you and I can explain this together if you want. But if to boil water, you need to add heat for that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, what's the opposite of boiling water? Condensing water. So where's that energy going? The energy is released. That's why it's latent as it goes up. Energy is released, and that it simply adds to the entire process of the buoyancy, the entire process of the winds accelerating at the surface, because you get more of this vertical motion happening. So the pressure continues to drop at the surface. The air continues to try to rush into the center. The winds in the process are accelerating, and that's how you get tropical depressions to become tropical storms, to eventually become hurricanes.
So now when the storm gets strong enough, what's the threshold for hurricane classification? The wind speed? Is it a wind speed or an air pressure measure?
No, it's wind speed. You reach hurricane classification when you reach wind speeds of 74 miles per hour. And then...
And the... what was he called? Milo, not Milo. It's not hurricane miles, no? Milton, yeah, Milton is like 180, I think 180.
Within the hurricane bracket, which is quite wide, it is subdivided in the Saffir-Simpson scale. Which is purely...
There you go. So yeah, Hurricane Milton is like 160 at least, or 180, I don't remember. I think 160. So for hurricane to mate, he has to have like 74 miles per hour
scale, and not a storm surge scale.
I was looking at the wiki page on the Saffir-Simpson scale, and I was reading from category 1 to category 5 in sequence, and it was like Dante's descent into hell. First one, some tiles will blow off your roof. That's it. Some trees will bend a little. Some flooding. Okay. Then in number 2, all roofs are gone. All leaves are stripped off of trees. That keep going up. Bark gets stripped off of trees. And category 5, there's no trees left. And I said, oh my gosh.
Right.
If anyone had to describe a descent into hell, it's the Saffir-Simpson scale, going from 1 to 5.
That's right, and that's why sometimes, especially in this era,
this is well, yeah. Look.
Category 5, there's no trees left.
Category 5 is basically, it doesn't matter what it goes, it just disappear. Cows, trees, boom, gone. Like imagine how fast a car can drive in 200. Wait, how much is? Like 260 kilometer per hour. Imagine this car crashing in something. So basically, the wind is dead.
Left, and I said, "Oh my gosh!"
Right.
And this is permanently crashing.
Describe a descent into hell. It's the Saffir-Simpson scale, going from 1 to 5.
That's right, and that's why sometimes, especially in this era that we're living in, you see these hurricanes like Otis in 2023 off the coast of Acapulco, Mexico, go from a tropical storm to a category 5 in the span of less than 24 hours.
24 hours.
Force on any surface from moving air, from wind, moving air. The force on any surface is a quadratic proportion or equation. So if you double the wind speed, it's 4 times the force. If you triple the wind speed, it's 9 times the force, right? 3 squared is 9. So a 150 mile per hour hurricane has 9 times destruction potential from wind alone than a 50 mile per hour tropical storm.
Just this morning, I rewatched Carl Sagan's testimony in Congress in 1985, warning lawmakers about the dangers of continuing to stoke this greenhouse effect from the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. As air temperature rises, it seems to me it could hold more moisture if we have a warmer Earth. So why does that automatically mean, because we've been told that it would give you either more storms or more severe storms?
When you can add 7% more moisture for every 1 degree Celsius that you increase the temperature of the atmosphere, right? So I mean, 7% is a non-trivial amount, okay? Because, you know, when you're talking about what just happened in the western North Carolina mountains with Hurricane Helene, you know, do you think that 7% makes a difference? Of course it did. So when it rains harder in a warmer world now. When it rains harder. And because the oceans, so the oceans all over the world are pretty much at record hot levels. There are some exceptions, you know, off the coast of Greenland, for example, and we can talk about
I
why.
actually never thought how hot the ocean could be.
But mostly, especially the tropical belt, you'll find that the oceans are generally warmer. There are, by the way, some short-term natural climatic variations like El Nino and La Nina, which can change the surface temperature in the equatorial Pacific, for example, just to give you some of those short-term natural variations. But the trend overall, since 100 years ago, has been for warming of the oceans. And I bring this up because, again, the main factor that drives the intensity of tropical cyclones all around the planet, not just in the Atlantic, is the sea surface temperatures and the amount of ocean heat content that you have. Speed limits for hurricanes have changed. And I'm not talking about how fast it moves across the ocean. I'm talking about how fast the wind speeds can get.
I noticed from the hurricane maps that Hurricane Milton was birthed in the Gulf of Mexico. And I hadn't typically, you know, my stereotype of a hurricane is one that forms, you know, halfway across the Atlantic.
How big it
and
is.
Migrates towards the Caribbean and either goes up the coast or crosses over. So how often do you get a hurricane forming in the Gulf of Mexico?
You mentioned Milton, and there are some unique aspects, or at least unique in the last 150 plus years with...
Oh, okay. Yeah. So unique in modern civilization. Yes. Okay.
Correct. Always important to state that caveat. But you have to go back to the mid-19th century to find a hurricane that formed in the far western Gulf of Mexico and traversed west to east nearly. I know at the end Milton has made a turn to the northeast, but traversing west to east, that is highly unusual. And the reason it's memorable from the 19th century is because these systems that hit the Florida coast in perpendicular fashion, in other words, the west coast of Florida kind of sort of oriented north-south, the hurricane kind of sort of going straight west to east, it hits the coast perpendicular and it causes a greater storm surge. Storm surge is dependent on many factors.
Storm surge is item in League of Legends.
Approach of the hurricane to the coast.
So is it the new normal that we would be getting hurricanes that are rare, possibly unique in their formation and in their devastation?
Listen, we're already seeing that. Some of the storms that were concurrent with Milton, Leslie, and Kirk, each one of them set records for being the strongest hurricanes ever recorded so far east in the Atlantic, so late in the season.
This thing is fucking huge.
That's a mouthful. But
yes,
okay,
this is like
right. So
half the Europe.
An October.
Okay, not that big, but close to this.
Way out there in the Atlantic, closer to Africa than the United States. Okay, becoming a hurricane that had.
If it comes to Bulgaria, somehow we are cooked. So it's over now. I mean, it's gone now, or no, I don't think it's gone. Right now, it will hit Florida. And that's why everyone from Florida evacuate, because basically nothing can survive there, so you have to evacuate. So everyone just left their homes and left. That's really bad. And I mean, think about it. Like us, we live right now, we are streaming, we are working, going to school every day and stuff. And randomly, everyone just say, come on. I mean, we have to go back. We have to leave. Like, you leave your home and And when you come back, the home won't be here because the hurricane just destroyed it. But they can come to Bulgaria. This is bad. Okay. Something for the hurricanes, for the cyclones, and I forget about the third one. Basically, why they are named that way is where they are formed. The hurricane is formed in which ocean? Wait, I have to open the map. Map. No. Okay, North Atlantic Ocean. Hurricanes are made here, right? Hurricanes. I think cyclones. That's why they are called cyclones, because they are made here. I'm not pretty sure if this one or in the Pacific Ocean. The other one is made here, but I don't remember the name. I think it's typhoon, but don't. I could be lying. So yeah, hurricanes are made here. Basically, we are fine. We are totally fine because we have no oceans. It is coming to Bulgaria? Huh? No, it's not coming to Bulgaria. It's not coming to. The reason why USA has so many tornadoes and stuff, and we don't have tornadoes, is that the heat think it like here extremely hot. Winds are coming from here, and extremely hot winds. And from these mountains, you see how many mountains they have here. These mountains are pretty cold. The cold wind comes from here, and when they meet, they have nowhere to go. So basically, tornadoes are made like around here, I think. Houston, yeah. Jackson, Houston, Dallas. Yeah, around here. This is the place where they have many tornadoes because of this. And we don't have this problem because look at this. Look, mountains, we don't have this problem. And we don't have ocean as well. No, sadly. Why do you mean no, sadly? You want a fucking hurricane who is basically big as Australia to come in Bulgaria? What do you mean? So we're safe. It will be fun. It will be fun, honestly. Yeah, it will be fun for you to leave, to lose everything you've built your entire life, and then start over from nothing like you're a fucking kiddo. Nah, joking. Okay, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird how like the weather is going lately. For the example, in Bulgaria, when was the last time you had snow? And I mean snow, not just one day for the whole winter. You had like just a little bit of snow, and then boom, the next year. It's like with every year is getting hotter and hotter. For the example, I'm sleeping with open window and naked still, and it's October. It should be super cold right now. Naked. Yeah, naked. To lose everything. My gym. Yeah. What? What? Frosty, what?
Not been seen
yeah, it's very weird
in modern records which date back to 1851. But by the way, by pressure, Milton is now the 5th.
How naked? What type of question is that? I mean, of course I wear shorts, but like here I'm naked too. Here I'm naked. Can you go sleep? No, I can't. For friends, haha. I didn't knew that my chat is that kind of chat. I don't believe Saint Pig. Fuck off. Let's watch the video.
Strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin.
So, John, you're a meteorologist and you report this on television, and people want advice from you. They see a hurricane is coming. Our models are good. We know when it's going to landfall. What do you tell people to do?
Well, in a nutshell, you run from the water and you hide from the wind. So, you must run from the water. Why? Because if you're going to get a storm surge that is 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 feet high.
Look at this.
That becomes
9
unsurvivable.
feet.
You can't swim in that. Or if you're trapped in your house, you get trapped in the attic and you drown. So you run from the water.
So thank you for sharing some of your time with us. Just can you give a shout out to the station who you report with?
Of course. So I'm the hurricane specialist, former chief meteorologist, now hurricane specialist.
Nice closing. St. Pixon, we are going to discuss it. Aha. Nah. Pass from me. Pass. But yeah, it's extremely hot with every year, and it's getting hotter and hotter. Ah, by the way, for the hurricane to disappear, basically, Florida. Yeah, this is Florida. So I think, yeah, the hurricane was formed here. Boom, 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 boom. It will hit Florida, and I think if he goes like this, he will disappear at some point because it's going on south. Is this equator? Is this the line, the equator? Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. What? Okay. Why it's so big? It's for school project. What? Nah. So you want naked people in your school project? They're kind of safe for now. I feel like Bulgaria is one of the best places to live right now. We don't have winter anymore. I mean, we have, but it's like super chill winter. The summer is not even that hot. It's hot, but it's not like super hot. Light population. No. Light pollution, no light pollution. Yeah. Another thing. Everyone who doesn't know, why do you think there is no stars in the sky sometimes? You think that they just randomly disappeared? I mean, for me, I thought it's that way when I was a kid. This is true. Yeah. Basically, if everyone shut down the lights and there is no light in the whole world, actually not even the whole earth, you can just go in place where there is no lights. For example, I don't know, like I don't know, road where there are no lights, literally no lights. And if you go, or like on the beach where there are no lights, you go there and you can see this. You can see the Milky Way. Super beautiful. See here, there you go. This is like it's like cloud of light that prevent us to see the stars. This is chill, really. I'm going to the beach. Yeah, the beach is good. What our ancestors saw. Yeah, basically every night looked like this before lights. Yeah, look, if everything is shut down, it should look like this. It's cool, man. Yeah, it's fucking cool. I love it. I think I saw the Milky Way once. I think it was the 1st of July. We were on the beach. We will welcome the 1st of July, of course. And there were no lights. And when you can literally look the Milky Way like this. We should do it. It's good. It's cool. Look at this. City. No stars. And in the darkness. Boom. There is no dark.